Greetings, curious member of World Mission Society Church of God. You are brave to be researching on the internet. We believe you will find valuable information in this video. Moreover, we will show you how influence works in other groups, not yours. Then you can make your own, independent decision. You will see how other groups influence, or manipulate their members. Whether or not you are being influenced negatively is your decision, not ours.
It's a bit frustrating because I had to choose between two things: the faith that I decided to follow and the people that I love. Why should I have to choose between the two?
And our investigation shows Potter's House is not the only church on the Cape whose members say their families were threatened and ripped apart. It happens when one family member wants to leave the church and another doesn't.
I had to choose between my parents or church.
And what did you choose?
For a while, I chose the church.
This teenager attended Victory Chapel in South Dennis for 7 years, even after her parents left.
And what did you think would happen to them?
I thought they would go to hell.
She eventually came home and now, with her parents, can only see her old friends on home video.
I've had to make decisions to put my relationship with God above my relationship with my mom.
John and Stony Esp know all about losing a daughter to the ICC.
She was just one of the joys of my life.
But joy turned to sadness after their daughter joined the ICC her freshman year at Montana State University.
I believe that this church has taken my daughter.
You can't believe the agony that we've gone through trying to figure out what our responsibility as a parent is. The grief that I have is over somehow not preparing my children for this possibility in their lives.
How often do you see that kind of problem where ultimately the church can divide parents and children?
Usually we see exactly the opposite. We work the very hardest that we can to keep people united.
John and Stony tried to keep their family united by bringing in a cult expert to try to convince Amy to leave the ICC.
She just wouldn't listen to us. Didn't want to listen, was afraid. Fear came over her face. She was afraid to listen. That was a pretty low point. Your daughter's running down the street, leaves her shoes behind. Mother's sitting there begging her to stay.
Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence.
When I finally left, my wife divorced me, both of my children disconnected from me, my mother disconnected, my brother, my sister, every niece, every nephew, every living person that is a blood relative of mine disconnected from me, just like that, done. And never spoken to again. My mother never knew that she had a new grandson, nothing. And it is a very, very powerful mechanism of controlling people.
Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence.
Scientologists will be told, don't watch this film. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's the attacks, it's the enemies, it's like the New World Order is coming to get us and they're banging down the doors, and in the face of Alex Gibney, he's the leader of the charge. people will be then told that if you do watch it, you will be declared suppressive. And by being declared suppressive, everybody who is a Scientologist that is around you, whether it's your husband or your wife or your children or your parents, the people you work with or anybody else, they will all disconnect from you.
But the fabulous thing about this is that while that is happening, you're also being told that Scientology is searching for the truth. That Scientologists do, in fact, even have courses about it called the Data Series Evaluators course, in which you're supposed to be able to take any data, as they say, any information at all, and judge it and say, okay, I see why this works and why this doesn't, and make your own decision. And they're all taught, every single Scientologist is taught and is proud of the fact that they believe that they can pretty much figure out anything for themselves and don't need to be spoon-fed. Well, in fact, at the same time, they are being told, you cannot look at this information. This information is not only poisonous, it will destroy you and all your friends and your family. And somehow you can hold both those things to be true, and that I find fascinating.
He told the whole congregation not to speak to missionary Ron, and that if we did, that we were going to go to hell because it was like eating from the from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the forbidden fruit, and that we were also told not to go to websites that were speaking bad against the church because, again, it was eating like the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and if we did so, then we were going to go to hell.
Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence. Brainwashing means some kind of influence.